From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 27th, 2018. 2 Palestinians were arrested last night after they tried to enter Israel with a pipe bomb. Israel police said they stopped a suspicious vehicle carrying the Palestinians who were coming from the West Bank at a checkpoint in southern Jerusalem. In searching the vehicle, they discovered a homemade explosive device as well as a knife. An IDF sapper was called to the scene to defuse the bomb, and the 2 were taken for questioning. And more violence today at the Gaza security fence. The IDF said there was an attempted mass breach of the fence, with Palestinian rioters trying to tear it down and set it on fire and infiltrate Israel at the Karni crossing, just a kilometer away from Israeli homes. The IDF spokesperson wrote on social media that over 10,000 Palestinians have participated in the riots today at several locations along the length of the fence, and attempts have been made to harm security infrastructure, roll burning tires, hurl rocks, and fly kites with flaming objects attached to them. The IDF said that in response, troops used riot dispersal means and have fired in accordance with the rules of engagement. Hamas said 3 Palestinians were killed and a number of rioters were injured. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations responded to criticism of the IDF's handling of the situation at the Gaza border by the UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein, who accused Israel of repeatedly using excessive force, some, he said, even constituting willful killing. Israeli envoy Danny Danon said the High Commissioner's decision to condemn a democracy that is diligently defending its sovereignty while completely ignoring the terrorists of Hamas as they use children for human shields provides a tailwind for terror and encourages the continued exploitation of civilians. Danon said the High Commissioner is not focused on human rights but only with obsessively criticizing Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu expressed his grief and that of the entire state of Israel over the loss of life from the freak storm and flash floods in southern Israel this week. 10 students from a pre-IDF high school training program were killed when they were swept away yesterday by the floods while on a field trip near the Dead Sea. Funerals have been taking place for the youngsters all day today, and police are investigating if there was any negligence on the part of the trip's organizers. The U.S. State Department confirmed late yesterday that newly appointed Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will stop in Israel on his first trip abroad as Secretary of State. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert said Pompeo's trip will include meetings with NATO officials in Brussels today and then stops in Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel next week, where he will meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu. She said, "We'll head to Israel, where our relationship has never been closer than it is right now with that country." Nauert said the Middle East stops were chosen because, quote, of the importance of these key allies and partners in the region and all the events going on in the world today. And Israel's Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman is in Washington this week, meeting with senior American defense officials for talks focusing on Iran and Syria. Lieberman was meeting with U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis and newly named National Security Advisor John Bolton, as well as with members of the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee and with the U.S. Special Representative for International Negotiations Jason Greenblatt and Senior White House Advisor Jared Kushner. Well, a bit of a scare today at Israel's consulate in New York City. A state of emergency was briefly declared at the consulate today, but the situation soon returned to normal. Security personnel at the consulate became suspicious of a man trying to enter the building, and there was even suspicion that he could be carrying some sort of an explosive belt. The consulate was put on lockdown, and the suspect was quickly detained by the security guards. He was not found to have any explosives on him and was handed over to police. Israel Consul General Dani Dayan wrote on social media after the incident that the suspect was now in NYPD custody. The staff is well, morale is high. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, April the 27th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by a Shabbat a cappella concert. At 8, Israeli author David Grossman speaks at the 92nd Street Y. At 9, it's the film My 100 Children, a Holocaust survivor story. Then at 10:30, it's Muzika with Israeli band Eifo Hayeled. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin looks at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 27th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.